Just walk us through a little bit of what was discussed. It's a very important phone call between the newly minted president and Xi Jinping.
Well, Anne-Marie, there don't appear to have been any surprises. I mean, this echoed a lot of what's already been said and touched on major issues between the two countries. A short White House readout said Biden raised his concerns about China's economic practices and human rights abuses in Xinjiang. And he also expressed misgivings about growing restrictions on freedoms here in Hong Kong. And what he called China's increasingly assertive actions in the region, including toward Taiwan, which has been a long-time point of contention between the two sides. And China's official Xinhua news agency gave its own readout. It cited Xi as saying China and the U.S. should reestablish mechanisms for dialogue so that there would be an accurate understanding of each other's policy and to avoid miscalculations. But it also repeated that Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Xinjiang were China's domestic affairs and said that the U.S. should respect China's core interests and act with caution. So in this, you see a bit of a desire to reset relations, but also, a note of caution from China.
And what can we glean from the readouts from the U.S. and China?
Well, this first call could set the tone for the relationship between these two leaders as Biden becomes president, although it's important to note that the first readout between Trump and Xi was also cordial before relations deteriorated. But China has taken a pretty cautious approach to the U.S. since Trump left office, and this readout echoed that. We've seen some of its rhetoric soften. We've seen it push for more cooperation. The readout was cordial overall. Biden wished Xi a happy Lunar New Year and reaffirmed he was committed to pursuing practical engagements when it advanced the interests of the U.S. people. But it also comes as he weighs arguably the most watched question in his foreign policy, which is whether to keep or modify Donald Trump's largely confrontational approach to Beijing. And it's really interesting to note that the call came as the U.S. and Taiwan acknowledged their first official meeting in Washington under Biden. And this is something that is very likely going to anger China. So, there's two notes being struck here.